Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining me here today. If you found yourself here, there may be a message of hope and healing for your soul's transformation and or evolution, or maybe just information. I'd like to talk today about a little bit about single parenting as a mother of boys. Sometimes single parenting, no matter if you're male or female, can be challenging if you don't have the same sex that you're raising. And sometimes for me, it's actually the opposite. I grew up with boys and played sports my whole life and had my dad who was very athletic, and we actually shared same or similar experiences with our accolades, and it was enjoyable. So my friends and we played outside all the time. So no matter what the sport, we learned it because we were always outside. So kids nowadays are pretty much inside on their cell phone. That's not really an activity. So I encourage you to have downtime with the phones and maybe get back to old school. Get outside and play, and don't just tell them to do so. Teach them something outside. You can do a lot of arts and crafts or play sports or go for a walk and talk. One of my sons loves to sit and talk outside. Why? Because we've done that in past lives before, and he's more of a prophet and a monk. And he doesn't mind being an introvert either, but I enjoy both. I need my time and of course honor his, and where he is where he is. My other son, on the other hand, very athletic, very outgoing, pretty much the light of the party, and needs to be around people. So honoring that as well, but also it was a challenge because they were both different but unique, but boys. And some of them, you just have to figure out where they are. And some of them are logical. We'll put the phone down at 10 because, a parent doesn't work with one. Because I'm the parent paying the bills doesn't work. Just saying, because you're going to get better sleep, or, you have a game tomorrow. We have to get up at 5 for your tournament, healthy foods, healthy habits. But even though they may be teenagers, which is challenging, find a support system for yourself and also a good role model, male or female, to support the aspects that you aren't able to. And it's okay to say, I'm not familiar, but go ahead and try anyway. But sometimes single parenting can be like whether you're a chef in someone else's kitchen. I know when I go to my mom's, it's like, what in the world? I always organize her spices, and she usually is pretty, neat and clean, but maybe things aren't in the same place I would put them. But then it's my home as an adult, and as a teenager, she appreciates some of the things, but when they cook so much, it's always in the order that they cook with. So you can't always fix her kitchen, and it's okay. So if you feel like you're out of place as a single mom, if you have engaged in activities with your sons, it's okay. You're learning new skills, and it's about supporting them and being supportive. And even if you're not sure what to say, just say, you know what, I have no idea, but I'm willing to learn. And they appreciate that, to just be there. Your presence is their present. So whether you're there at school, I know I don't recall much time off. When I was raising 2 boys, basically myself, so the time that I did have off, I would volunteer at their school. We would make sure that I was there for the activities, or, whether it was we had parent bringing the treats for their activities. You show up, or one of my sons was in hockey. You had to volunteer so many hours. I think it was 20. And I did that. I didn't care. I took on my exes as well because he just didn't care. And so I did. We ran the concessions. We're there for pictures, and the boys got to know you. And it's about your presence being present. And so it's okay. And, of course, you get the calls from the principal. I got a few of those too. That's all right. Got to know the principal and hear their stories. And actually, speaking of principle and changing, some of us as intuitives come in to change things, change policies, change procedures. I remember as a teacher myself going into my son, who is, you can label it on the spectrum, but he's very intelligent. He just learns differently. Me going in front of a panel myself of 10 other, teachers and principals with their degrees, it didn't matter. I schooled them that day on how people learn, especially my son. So did it change things in that school of 5,000 kids? Yes, it did. And I was profoundly moved with their inability to open their brain space to the different learning styles of students when they had so many in the student body. It was so frustrating, but I laid it out in many ways by demonstration and or conversation how to reach these kids that they labeled, disabled or unwilling to learn, and then they become bullies. I said they become bullies because they're frustrated. So I gave quite a few examples personally and professionally and as parents and teaching people. So, and when I was teaching, it was, let's give Kim all the students who can't learn because they're stupid. I was like, that really hurt my heart because I had never had a problem. I intuitively felt into them. I could watch them. Some were dyslexic, some were ADHD, ADD, whatever you want to label them. To me, it was easy to pull out their potential. I was also left-handed and very intuitive, so maybe that was a special gift too. But changing is something that you can do, and advocating for your kids. And I've had to do that my whole life. And so, whether you're protective parents or, you're very aware, am I being oversensitive or is this protecting, or do I need to change policies here? And a lot of it has happened in all that order where you advocate for your kids. I'm a mama bear, I'm a very protective person, but I'm not doing it out of being too insensitive or sensitive. It's just because things aren't right. It's not right or wrong. It's let's open your brain to something different. And that's what I did. So learning new skills as a parent, learning new skills as a teacher, learning new skills as a partner is important, and just learning in general is so your soul evolves and it's evolution. So with kids and boys, I learned a lot, not only from their school and their accolades, but from their sporting events and just dealing with other parents. It's amazing how many people are not present. And that's important for you to be present. And I talked about this with death and dying and people that are losing their families. Your presence is their present. Okay? Being there is a gift to all parties. Not that it's annoying or not you have to take time off from work to bring your parent to the doctor, or your children and or your boss should know if your child is ill and it's legit. Of course you can bring a doctor's note back, but compassion helps, and this is important for your children. And when your family gets sick in the hospital, I can tell you they're scared. Maybe they don't say anything, they don't doctor, they're fearful of their life. So be present, even if you're sitting there. So with your children who are struggling with their homework, or they missed the goal, or they missed whatever it was, they didn't get the medal, they didn't get the ribbon, whatever it is, it's okay. You know what? It is okay to just sit with it and just listen and say, I understand you're disappointed, or, you know what, you did a great job. Figure out what makes them tick and just be there for them. And I'm not saying I was perfect, because I would love to change a lot of things, and I would. If you could snap your fingers and go back about 30 years, I'd change so many things. But you can't. So you have to live with today and move forward. Be willing to leave your comfort zone is important, and look for role models that can fill in the blanks. My youngest didn't have a father present, and that was never an issue. When he brings it up, I listen, because he has valid points and hurts and pains. And then you can say, but I sure do appreciate your grandpa being there and all of your coaches, and there's big brother, big sister, and your neighbors. There's always somebody that will line up if you ask for help. Be open to it. And some of us, and I've heard a lot of people just line up with another person who's another karmic because they want a father figure. Well, let me tell you something. It's better to be single and flounder around a little bit as a parent than to have another person hurt them and leave you. And then when they get older, they resent you because you have another person that betrayed their mother and them. So it's important to heal yourself. It's important to find your grounding, your oak tree. Make sure you yourself have unconditional love for yourself and your children, and figure those karmic things out. And then balance yourself. Role models are important for everybody. Ask your inner child, what are you missing? Maybe it's reflecting in your personal child, your child that you have still under your roof. So figure out what the balance is, what things need to be transcended, and that trauma that needs to be released from your inner child that's dancing around with the children that you currently have in your life and or others, whether you teach it or you have neighbors, something triggers you. What is it that triggered you? So it's not that you're a single parent. God gave you some reason, some of these gifts for a reason, so you can work through some of these things, and it's okay. You're not perfect. There's not one thing in the world that is. It's a soul's journey to evolve. There is no such thing as perfect. There really isn't, because that's in the eye of the beholder. That's projected onto us to be perfect based on the person telling us. And the one I heard it from, or the 5, they're lacking it. So let's think about that. What a paradigm shift. The person that's telling you effed up because you're not perfect and you don't, you're not in the limelight, it doesn't matter. But once you've evolved, you can say, okay, they're reflecting and looking in the own mirror, or maybe you're mirroring their experience. And I'm talking about my own mother here. She was abused by my dad. Then I got abused by my partners. So she doesn't like me. Why? Because maybe she can't handle it and she never healed. And I've talked to her about this, and she just laughed at me. So did it trigger something for a second? But I just said, well, unhealed emotions and abuse is your story. You projected that onto me my whole life. And this is amongst adults, my stepdad and aunt and uncle. And I said, my legacy will be to help others heal through it. And she was profoundly moved, but started laughing. And then, my uncle pulls me to the side and said, wow, yeah, she never dealt with that. I said, yep. And our whole lives then after, me in particular, took on her crap. And so what you do is you love it back, you turn it into yourself, you heal yourself in all those aspects, and you can love her from a distance, i.e. my mother. So she'll take that to her grave, and she'll have to deal with that trauma another lifetime. But for me, it's going to be my legacy to help others, not to get stuck in that trauma and karmic cycles for the duration of your life, this lifetime, and any other lifetime, because you can heal it from all your timelines. So I hope this helps. And also, in one more note, your children don't take it on to their children and all of that. You stop the madness now and the chaos, and you can transcend all that trauma back to your heart center. And so it is. Namaste.